processing is a visuals-oriented programming language that a lot of creative coders use. Tim Rodenbroeker is a German creative coder who offers lessons on his Patreon. I went through his lessons and using ChatGPT 4 modified his code and played with it and came up with some pretty cool things. I didn't type any code at all. I was just speaking into the microphone, and ChatGPT 4 would take Tim's lesson code and do the edits and the modifications that I was instructing it to do. It was really easy to do. It was really cool. So this video is showing the process. On the right side, with the blue background, we have the processing console. That's where we paste in code, and if we like to, we can edit it. If not, we can have ChatGPT do all the edits. This left side is ChatGPT 4, and that is where we give instructions and code.
Hi, and welcome to Generative Sculptures. This course is a deep dive into the code I used in various projects, even some applied ones for IBM and Netflix. And it's actually based on a combination of different methods from my curriculum. Here you will learn how to transform an image into a three-dimensional structure and then set it in motion in various ways and even make it interactive. Are you ready to get this started? Me too, so let's go.
This one was about a 6-minute lesson, and at the end of each one there would be processing code. I would click on this button right here, I would copy it, and then I would go to processing. So I'm going to take Tim's code from his lesson and I'm going to make some changes to it, and it seems to work best if you do it one step at a time. So I go to the processing console and I paste in Tim's code. First thing I'm going to do is I actually will make a change in the code myself here. I am going to change the name of the graphic, which now currently is a placeholder name. So I make that change, and then I'm going to run the code. Click the button, take a look. There we go. There's my graphic with Tim's code from the lesson. So that's cool. I'm going to select all. I'm going to copy from the processing console, and I'm going to select ChatGPT 4, click on the microphone down here, and I'm going to give it an instruction. Change the resolution to 1920 by 1080. And I click the stop button and it processes my voice. And down here you see what I said. I'm going to paste in the code that I just copied from the processing console. And if we look at the top over here, you see it's currently 900 by 900. Let's have ChatGPT modify it. Click this. It's going to think about it. And I already see that it has changed the size. Let's let it finish. There we go. And if you look over here, there's the new size. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to clear the processing console. I'm going to paste in the modified code and I'm going to run it. Yep, there it is. 1920 by 1080. So in Resloom, if I go to the Sources tab, under Siphon Servers, it just says Avenue Composition. That's all. So I don't see my sketch from processing yet, and that's because we don't have code that will allow processing to pipe its image into Resolume. Now I'm going to go back to ChatGPT 4, and I don't need to copy the modified code from the processing console because it's already in the ChatGPT window here. But I'm going to click on the microphone and I'm going to give it instructions to insert code that will get it into Resolume so that I can project it or output it as video. Add siphon for Resolume. It's processing my voice instruction. I click the button for it to do it. Thinking about it. It's adding the code. I go up here to copy it. Back to the processing console. I clear it. I paste in the modified code and I run it. Now with the extra code we added to get processing into Resolume, we see that the name of our script, our demo processing siphon script, is included here. Okay, so Resolume sees it. Now I want to go back to the code and do one thing. I go to ChatGPT 4, click on the microphone, and give it another instruction. Loop after 3 seconds. It's processing my voice instruction. There we go. And I'm going to click the button to implement it. Generates the code. Takes just a couple seconds. It's going to loop after 3 seconds, I hope. If not, go back, try something different. And I copy. I go back to the processing console, clear it, paste in the modified code, run it. And there we go. Does it loop? It loops. Now I go back to Resolume and we have our processing script right here. I drag it into the grid and let's take a look. And there we go. It is superimposed over some generative AI I have running, but at about 20% opacity you can see our animation looping. Pretty cool. For the time being, it looks like this is the way we're going to interact with our pro applications and AI. The coding language is like the pipeline from the OpenAI model into Blender or processing or whatever. Apple is integrating its own AI models into voice control over all its applications. That's coming up pretty soon, I just read. But right now, this process of talking into a mic, having it converted to text and fed into ChatGPT 4, having ChatGPT 4 generate code, copy it into your app, that seems to be the way it's going to work for the time being. That's going to change.